Organic farming is a method of crop and livestock production that involves much more than choosing not to use pesticides, fertilizers, genetically modified organisms, or antibiotics. On our episode today, we tour Kakamega County at a place called Chimuche Ward in Malava Sub-County. Here, we meet Esther Timona, an organic farmer practicing resilience agriculture that holistically addresses the feed, fiber, and fodder for good nutrition, food security, and agribusiness. Through conservation agriculture, Esther Timona, a mother of 4 and a widow, has been able to educate her children from revenue generated through farming. She shares with us how she achieved this.
Ninafanya organic farming, na organic farming nilianza 2013, na wakati nilianza hii organic farming imeniwezesha kulinda familia yangu, imeniwezesha kusomesha watoto wangu. Na hii organic farming, wakati ninapanda mimea zangu kama mboga, matunda na herbs, huwa ninazifanyia value addition kunipa market. Na vile nilianza kufanya value addition, nilipata market mzuri na nikawezeshwa kusomesha watoto wangu mpaka penye wako. Mtoto wa kwanza nimemsomesha kutoka kwa hii kilimo cha organic farming, alisoma Mangu High School. Saizi ako Nairobi University, anachukulia medicine. Mtoto wa pili alisoma Alliance Boys kutoka kwa hiki kilimo, ako Tuku University. Mtoto wa tatu amesoma Musingu Boys, ana join university this year. Last born amesoma St. Anthony Kakoi, ako form 3, na ni hii kilimo ndio inanisaidia kusomesha hawa watoto.
Fred Amani is an agronomist and a project manager for Kakamega County Widows Empowerment Project. Together, we visited Esther's farm, where he has trained Esther on resilient agriculture with an objective to fight challenges arising from global warming. He also has an objective to improve lives of the vulnerable members of the community. Fred Anami shares with us more on the topic of agroecology, which he says is the idea of feeding the soil first so that the crops can thrive, hence assuring food security.
We empower women in agribusiness. Specifically, we deal with agroecology. Agroecology is a phenomenon of farming where farmers practice resilience so that to increase food security, balanced diets, and have food at any one given season of the year to enable them get money from the produce that they are having in their farm at very minimal costs. Agroecology entails the use of almost organic methods in planting integrated crops in a given piece of land so that the crops can be resilient according to the climatic changes. Special emphasis is always put on water and soil conservation and the use of organic or farmyard manure to improve the soil fertility. The principle behind agroecology is basically to feed the soil, then the soil feeds the crop, and the crop feeds humans and their livestock.
While water is very essential in crop production, there is also need to conserve it by use of various methods such as the Keyhole Method, raised seedbeds, and several others. The Keyhole Method is a way of planting different crops in a manner of different layers, whereby the water which is mixed with manure is left at the center. In this method, the crops which require more water are planted nearer to the source of water, and the ones that requires less water are planted on the layers which are farthest. Fred Anami expounds more on this planting method.
In the farm we are here, because of the nature and type of soil, which is mostly sandy, we've tried to use few different methods to enable us use maximally the water that is available during different seasons. Like where we are standing in a place where we used the keyhole pits, where we dug in the form of a keyhole with different circumferences and different sizes in order to plant different plants that require different amounts of water for their growth. The one that is farthest is onions. They don't require a lot of water. The next, these are bulbs. The next one is a herb called rosella. For the health, they require a little bit more water than the other one. Then the other plant is grass, the lemon grass, which is an onion type, which requires a bit more water than these ones. So from the different layers, you can plant different types of crops depending on their water consumptions. In the keyhole, you put the manure in one point where water concentrates, and then the manure now disintegrates into the fields through the waters.
Other methods used by Esther is use of raised seedbeds, which has many advantages, making it a preference for many farmers, especially for water conservation. Raised soil warm faster than ground level soil and are usually better with drainage, allowing quicker and better plant growth. Higher beds also help the farmer to have better access to the plants as they create walk paths along them. The trenches around the beds tap the water that would have sinked deeper in the soil, allowing the crops to sip the water as required.
These ones are beds, raised beds. The reason for raising them, they are double dug, is to ensure that the manure won't leak down because the trenches act as water conservers. The depth maintains the water that is up in order not to sink more into the ground. The plots, the way the canopy is, we try and come up with a canopy that will bring a food forest into system, where the bigger trees are at the far end and the lower crops are near. So at one point when you are walking across the farm, you'll get that as you move deeper, the canopy of the plants goes higher. The farthest ones are put near the border so that it enables you to have a wood lot or wood crops in the far end to enable you to have ease of manipulating your crops while you move around the fields. For example, if you want to plant vegetables, they'll be more nearer the house than being a little bit farther because they require a lot of checking. In between the crops, we introduce some plants that are used for pest control, like the worm seed. We have the beans here. They are not beans really, but they are used to attract some pests that can be used in order to reduce the usage of pesticides in the farm, which at some point pesticides elevate the acidity of the soil, thus making the soil not good for our plants.
Agroecology has many benefits to the farmer, such as integration of different crops for constant production, which is good for agribusiness and food security. Fred Anami tells us if one can carry a market research, this will ensure that farmers will have crop at times when the produce is in demand, since agroecology is not dependent on rain-fed irrigation. Fred tells us more on how agroecology benefits both the farmer and the land as well.
The benefits of agroecology is that, number one, once you finish the first cycle of 3 months, at no point in time will you lack something to harvest from that farm. The first cycle is at the end of 3 months, where you will start harvesting like the vegetables, you harvest the beans, you harvest any crop that has a three-month cycle. From there, now the harvesting is continuous for the lifespan of your farm. You never lack anything in the farm to harvest at any one given time. So if you get a crop calendar year and you do a good market survey, you'll get that most of our plants here don't depend on rain-fed water. They depend on the water that we have conserved in the farm. You can always have the crop on demand in that season when the crop is not when the crop fetches more on the market. The other benefit is that we've reduced the cost of production for our crops. We don't use synthetic chemicals in this farm. Number two, like the farm we are in is registered with the Kenya Organic Farmers Association, so whatever is here fetches more in the market than the farmer who uses conventional farming.